got the mic.
Ready? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Student and Family Committee. My name is Mr. Albert Benahan. I'm one of the chair of Student and Family as a board member here in Bristol School. I'd like to welcome everyone. I believe this is our first meeting of Student and Family. I hope everyone have a beautiful summer, and I'm very glad to have you all back. Because that's sometimes when the emails, go back and forth, it's not the same way we talk in person, much better. So, I'd like to welcome my committee member. Can you please introduce yourself? I know you.
Hi, everyone. This is Bobby Brown.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're here, Ms. Erica. Thank you for being here. And as we have always, my good friend, always here, the Joe Sutherland. Welcome. Thank you for being here in the Student Family. We appreciate that. And I know online, and also we have my amazing friend, our staff, Mr. Planas. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Ms. Rocha, always, Ms. Lynn. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. I'm the interim director of special ed.
Thank you. And
Keoma Steele, Director of Nutrition.
welcome to our committee. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. At the same time, I know we have an online. We have Mr. Brenham. Thank you, Mr. Brenham, to be here, and team at the main office. And always, I like to say thank you to IT department. And I believe what's the name, John? Sam. And Sam always here, and John always recorded. I would appreciate that. And always, I have to say thank you for the main office team and Ms. Valle. They always prepare our package and have everything ready. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that. Without them, we don't have what we have right now. So we're gonna start in an agenda approve of minutes from June 16, 2022. I'd like to have make a motion for that to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Erica and Ms. Brown. Any corrections, any change for the minutes, anything you think we can change, or everything is okay?
I'm good.
Looks good to me, Albert. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Castillo. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Second in agenda, we have principles. I don't know, we have if you can give me some information, Ms. Plana, about I really asked for have principles in the pack. I know Central High School is not gonna be here because they have an open house. We have a lot of schools that have an open house today. I'm very shocked that I don't know why there isn't open house was almost the same date and same time for our school, but I just only worry because I know parents have 2 or 3 kids different school, and I can imagine the parents go back and forth running, to talk to the teachers. But something about Cesar Batalla, Mr. Plana, that are we here or not?
Mr. Kennedy should be joining us. I just texted to double check on that.
In Harding High School.
Harding High School, Mr. Vernon Thompson is on.
Oh, Mr. Brennan, okay. Oh, I appreciate that. I didn't know. I thought Mr. Brown was gonna be online. But so let's go to talk about Mr. Brennan. Mr. Brennan, you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. How you doing, Mr. Brennan? Good to hear you, brother.
I'm doing well. It's good to be on.
Thank you so much. I know this is the first time you've been in my student family committee. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Mr. Brennan, I just want to know you can give me some information how the PTSO and how everything worked, what the principals and assistant principal and what the staff, some information, how everything they do. If you know something about the elections, how everything's working.
So everything's working well. We do have an upcoming election that we're planning, and our parents are coming in an open house to get more engaged. Our focus for the last year has been on parent education. So we have partnered with RIASAP to offer parents training and information. We did a session on vaping. We did a session on social media. So we've been working on having events that educate the parents and kind of tap into the things that they want to know about, along with our current work. Our first event that we're planning for September is Power School Training. And what we utilized was we bought devices for parents to utilize for this training. So our first kickoff event will be early October, but that will be Power School Training. We may have to do multiple sessions just to offer every parent hands-on access to follow their students' attendance, their grades, and really keep up with the performance. As you know, from just our work in high school, sometimes parents don't know really what's going on with the child. We also have our bilingual staff that will be participating. So our students who are Spanish, our parents who are Spanish speaking, can also get that support and get the technical support for access also. So we'll be working with parents on the computers, also the phones.
Thank you. Can you tell me when, do you have around when it's gonna be elections day for, Harding High School?
Our current plan, I don't have the current date with me now, but I will email that to you. What we're looking to utilize open house for is to get some more parents that are interested in running. And then from there, we'll be able to set a date. So at high school, it gets tough to get more parents involved. But our plan is to recruit parents at open house that would be interested, and then, pull that next election together.
Yeah, I know, and trust me, I understand and agree with you that sometimes high schools is very tight, very difficult to bring parents because, as a former PDSO from Bassett High School, it was a little difficult tight to bring parents to high school because sometimes parents, they say, oh, they're high school, they can take care. No, I feel that that's the time parents have to be checked what's going on with your son and daughter in high school because the grade, everything. But sometimes I did my best in Bassett High School. I cannot complain about the principals. I cannot complain about the staff and, my parents and my officers. They did a good job. We work hard. Trust me, that we work hard to be sure, to bring parents.
Yeah, we definitely work hard. And one thing we're trying to do, Mr. Benahan, is offer the information that parents kind of need. So when they come out, not only do they get information, but they get education on areas that would allow them to support their child in the level that they would like to, and to be well informed about what's happening with their child's education.
Yeah, of course. We need to help our parents educate parents, education to help the child. I agree with you. And you guys have a great team. You have Mr. Brown, you have Miss Silver, and you and the other one. They do amazing.
Well, you got to add. I got to also work with you for 3 years, so I really got to get to work with an active parent to get a good model of how things going. And I also always express to parents and staff what we were able to do through our collaboration with PTSO and STC to push the basic building project forward. So I always express the importance of parent and teacher involvement.
Yeah, sounds good. When you gonna be your open house, Mr. Brennan?
Our open house is Wednesday. Wednesday is our open. It would be one thing I want to add, and if you want to stop by, one thing that our PTSO has done, and this was a parent idea, we created a hygiene closet, and that hygiene closet has hygiene products, laundry products, everything that students may need who don't have access to that. So that was a parent idea. We had a parent who had a vision that she wanted to bring to the school, and we've created that closet. We have students who come from other countries, don't have what they need. We can give them bags and they can get things. So that's one of the great things that a parent initiated, a parent got going. So we'd love for you to just stop by and get a glance at that.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Great job. I like it. That's very nice.
Yeah. So, and that's what we transformed our parent center into. It's a hygiene closet managed by a parent, created by a parent. It was her idea, and we just supported it and brought it to life.
Great, that's good. I'm gonna ask my committee, I have a question. I see Ms. Brown had the hand up. Ms. Brown, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Vernon, I would like to definitely say, hearing you talk about being able to provide parents with the Power School, like a Power School tutorial, I think that's really, really unique. And I think that's also going to help that slash via Parent Square on how parents can be able to find information about their students. I'm hoping, and maybe this is something I can adopt in my own committee along with Mr. Benahan's committee, is that making sure that something like this is spread across the different high schools as well as middle schools as well. I mean, elementary schools, because hearing something like that, that has been one of a few parents' concern is they don't know how to navigate Power School or Parent Square. And for some, it may be easy for parents to do, but for others, it is a truly big technology divide on how parents can properly assist their student or their child. So, I will be interested to know exactly how your layout for that particular session as far as Power School. So maybe we can encourage other principals and other schools to adopt that same thing, especially in the beginning of the school year where everything that they're going to find concerning their child will be on Power School. So definitely kudos to your team for doing that. And I'm not trying to say that any other school in our district isn't doing it. I don't know. This is my first time hearing of something like this. So if they are, kudos to them as well. But I will definitely be interested on knowing what is it that particular session is going to look like so that other schools can either adapt it or try and find a calendar day to get parents involved on the parent leadership side of things.
Yes, and to add, Ms. Brown, one thing that we did do with our parent fund, we bought devices for parent use. When parents come in, they have devices that they can utilize. This is one thing that Mr. Benahan did do at Bassick that we tried to bring to the table. We don't have space for actual lab, but we did invest in technology. So when parents come in, we can walk them through. And our technology team will be leading this effort.
That is absolutely amazing. And that's really, really good to hear. And I know we're always wondering how parents can utilize the funds within the parent, the parent leadership side of things. And I think that may be a good place to do that, especially if it's going to encourage parents to know exactly how to obtain information concerning their kids. So yeah, I really appreciate hearing that, because that is a huge concern within our district. You can give them all the technology in the world, but if you're not walking them through the process, it still creates a divide. So, Mr. Bennett, I hope that's something that we can encourage other parent leaders to do.
Yes, I agree with you, Ms. Brown. That's amazing. Thank you for the information. I'm very proud, Mr. Brennan. Very proud.
No problem.
I have Ms. Erica Castillo. You had your hands up. The floor is yours, Ms. Castillo.
Thank you, Mr. Benahan. I wanted to ask more about the social media training that you all did. What was the format for that? Did you bring in?
So what we did for that training, we contracted RISAP, and RISAP is partnered with the district. They serve us in multiple capacities. They provide, we have a restorative trainer, a restorative person in our building who is through RISAP. So we've contracted them, and they met with all the administrators, but we had started working with them prior, just due to our relationship in the building. And they really ran through a training. They had a presentation. They went through all of the platforms that students are using. They went through all of the language that students are using on the internet, so parents would be aware of what's being said, what it means, how things are being communicated. They went through every platform that the kids, our students actually are using. So the parents were aware, parents had an understanding. And then the other they did was vaping, which, is a big thing, but they gave a full breakdown. So RISAP is partnered with the district, and they are willing to come in, and they discuss many different areas that will educate our parents and help our parents better support their children.
That's great. They answer your question, Ms. Castillo?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Castillo.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. I'm giving you the floor to Mr. Joseph Sokolet. Mr. Sokolet, you got the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Hey, Mr. Thompson, how are you these days? Good to see you.
How you doing, sir?
Right. I'm gonna start with a couple of statements and then a few questions. I've done this with the other principals as well. It's no reflection on a particular principal in front of us, as I'm sure you know. So if we live by the old adage, if it don't apply, let it fly, we'll be doing good. It's just that this information needs to get out there to all principals and staff, because we have been struggling in parent engagement throughout many of our schools. Some are doing better than others, but they all need to be on the same page as far as information. Now, we as a board, we are quite aware that we have no supervisory capacity over principals, but what we do have is supervisory capacity over our superintendent, whoever that may be at the time. And me and Mr. Benahan in particular are very strongly focused on having all our PACs up and running in a functional manner. And when we evaluate our superintendents and stuff, we basically weigh heavily on parent participation. Now, what does that look like at the building level? It's got to be parents got to feel welcomed in their schools. It's got to be a partnership. Some principals, again, the old adage, don't apply, let it fly. Feel like a parent may be another person looking over their shoulder and make it a little difficult for the parent to show up and get involved. And we know that parents are busy, and we know that the principals can put in their best efforts to find PACs and to have functioning PACs and things going on. But when we see things like some of our schools had 90% of their money left on the table in certain years, and it's something we started really looking at. If there's 90% of the funds left on the table, apparently it's not outreach, because parents are going to show up for a free meal if we at least feed them and have an educational component. Other issues we found in our some of our schools is that P10s were being signed and put out without the parents signing off on them and being aware of them. I don't know if you've heard of any of our meetings where that has come up, and it has been an issue where the principal is driving the spending when it should be a collaborative effort. And the only thing the principal should really put a stop to is activities that would fall out the scope of the grant funds. Like if it has no educational component, it should not be parent engagement funds spent on it. But other than that, it should be really driven by the PAC leaders in collaboration with the principal. What else? Did I miss anything else? I guess I'll move on to a couple of questions. Does your building have a space for the PAC leaders to meet?
Yes, we do have space.
Awesome. All right. And would you say you have a good relationship with the PAC president?
Yes, I have a great relationship. So just to understand my background, and Mr. Bennigan can attest to, as a teacher, I was the president of the school governance council. So I work closely with Albert. So I mean, this is just the culture that I came up in as an educator, where to get things moved, you have to have strong parent relationships. And, you know, Mr. Benahan can attest to that. When there was political pushback on a new BASIC, I was able to call Mr. Benahan on his cell phone. We were able to come together. We were able to organize as staff and him as a parent and make things move and utilize, you know, our efforts to support our students. So it's kind of, you know, that's the culture that I come from.
Right. Awesome. And that being said, I do see you, and I have saw you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all, Mr. Benahan.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
great talking to you, sir. It's been a long time.
I had to go back what Mr. Brennan said when we was in Bassett at school, and I was the former PTA. So we have a great communication. He always be there for me to support me with the parents. He was the chair, the chair of the student government council. We have a great communication. He always involved with my parents. He always said, Mr. Benham, you think what about this? What we can do this and everything. I'm telling you. Mr. Brennan, I can say we have a great staff, but Mr. Brennan is one of the high for me staff that he always support PTA. So I'm Bassett High School for 2 years. He got the experience, he got good communication, with the staff, he followed the rules, the policy. Amazing. I'm very proud to have Mr. Brennan be around with us, and I'm very glad to say this, Mr. Brennan, because you ask like a mother, you care about our students, you care about our parents, you care about everything. And I know you have a full agenda. You have a beautiful family. God bless you. And I'm very glad that we have you on board. Have any question you have, Ms. Brown, Ms. Castillo, to Mr. Brennan? We can keep going the agenda.
I'm all set.
Same, I'm all set. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that Mr. Sokolev bring in talk about the P10. It's something I have to be talking later. It's something that I would like to have it mandatory for all the leaders. That's the most way we can search and we can see how the money is spent. In having the signature from the principal and the vice president is much better. So they both have to be in the same page. Okay, I'm gonna keep going in the agenda because I don't want to keep
Mr. Kennedy's online.
Yes, please. I want to ask about that. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so Dr. Alexander was absent today.
Okay.
And so in place of Dr. Alexander, Mr. Kennedy it's online.
Good.
Right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. Mr. Kennedy, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your valuable time. So I would like to give you some information about, in your floor, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you so much. My apologies for arriving late. I did not know the last minute change for the meeting. So we have a thriving lighthouse program here at Cesar Battaglia. We have parents signing up on a regular basis to attend our after school before and after school program. Last year, we look forward to seeing this happening this year, our bilingual family night where families are coming in to see the program that we had at the end of last year. Our bilingual teachers had hosted families in for wonderful food being shared with one another. They had a great evening. Last night was open house, and we had numerous families coming in, feeling supported by one another in the upper grades as well as the lower grades. This year, we're working on a newsletter we'd like to send out on a quarterly basis to show the activities and actions going on here at Cesar Battaglia. And we're looking forward to having more PAC involvement. We didn't have as many parents involved as we would have liked last year, but we're looking forward to having some more connectedness there. We're at Battaglia, we're working on as Barracudas. We're working on, it's called Swim Together as a school, as a culture. So successful, welcoming, innovative, motivated. And we're trying to use that as kind of a whole school mantra to build on climate and to get more families involved here at Battaglia.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. I'm very glad you're here and on board, and I hope you can give this information to Dr. Alexander. I know the PAC has some issues in Cesar Battaglia. I have parents and former PAC officers that they need to involve. I'm going to try to work with the team and trying to see what we can do, because that school is amazing. That is one of the new school we have. We're talking about, we have around many kids, we have 1,078. So, and the budget is very, the money they receive on Battaglia, we talk about $10,521. And I see that last year and before, they spend it in food. And I really had that report. And I understand that you have to bring food for all the parents, but now spend all the money in food. And I know all our vendors, the price went high. When I told you high, it's like here to the moon. And I was in shock, I'm telling you. Something you can buy before, I remember $300 and it's a parents policy for $30. Now it's $800. And I'm not talking extra 100, I'm talking they went triple. So I don't want to spend the money in food. We need to, this money is very important, it's for educate our parents. So I would like to sit down with Dr. Alexander and with you. And I know, do you have, they have a PAC leader right now in the school? Mr. Kennedy,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part. My apologies.
the school, they have a pack leader right now,
We do have a pack leader, yes.
right? So I would like to meet one day I'm gonna email you so we can meet. We can, do something so I can sit down and try to help because I have a team, a committee would love to, be part and help them.
That'd be
And
fantastic.
Because, I know sometimes they don't know exactly what to do, or maybe they're afraid, or they deny so many things because this is a lot of things happen that. So I would like to help them so they can do workshops in trying to do things for parents. Because I know it's good to buy food and buy stuff for the parents, but we need to be sure that parents be educated first before anything.
Okay.
So this year, I'll be at the top, very, very strong. I'll be very top in how our leaders, spend the money. So I will email you and you can try to talk with Dr. Alexander so we can meet with the pack, any day or anytime.
Okay.
I will have to do that. Ms. Castillo, Ms. Brown, do you have any question to Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah, I had one question. Is Lighthouse only at Cesar Batalla, or is it at multiple schools?
That I'm
Yeah,
not sure of.
Let me have Mr. Brennan ask that question, please.
Yes, we have the Lighthouse program at multiple number of schools. In fact, many of our schools have Lighthouse program.
Okay, yeah, that was my understanding. It was brought to my attention recently that there's some schools that do not have before school programming or after school programming. So maybe that's a further conversation that offline with Nahan about exploring possibilities for expanding those programs. Do you all have any plans to expand the Lighthouse to other schools in the future?
So most schools should have some kind of after-school program as such. For example, High Horizons and Multicultural, they actually have one program for both schools. In terms of the before-school program, those programs are funded by the parents themselves. So they pay to have someone before school in that regard. But in the after-school program, it's actually funded directly from the Lighthouse, and then there's a few sites that we have received funds from grants who actually run those programs. For example, classical studies, they have a specific agency that kind of runs that program, and it's not the Lighthouse itself; it's another agency. But all the schools should have, from my knowledge, all the schools should have some type of after school program as such.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Sakura, do you have any question?
Yes, same little speech. Giving a speech to all the principals. We on the Board of Education. My name is Joseph Calico, by the way. I don't think I've ever met you, so. Yeah, me and Mr. Benahan, we've been working towards this stuff for years. And some of the people coming on the board just in the last few years have been working on it as well. We're trying to strengthen our PACs and PTSOs. Because we know parent involvement is key to student success, and we've had many problems. We're well aware that we're not in any supervisory capacity of any principals, but we do have supervisory capacity over the superintendent. And part of the big push that we've been doing is parent involvement and parent engagement for the past, I don't know, what is it going on now? 4 or 5 years now, with the really putting pressure to the prior two superintendents to get the PACs up and running. And one of the things that brought it to our attention that not enough was being done was a lot of money being left on the table. That shows a lack of outreach. Now we know that we're not always going to be successful, but we got to keep trying. We've got to make our schools welcoming places. We've got to work in collaboration with our leaders. The leaders are not there to look over your shoulder. They're not there to be like a supervisor or anything. I know that it's not comfortable having other people in the building and just there sometimes, but they're not there. They're not there to fight with you. They're there to be your partners and to move the system forward. And they could be if utilized properly, they could take some weight off of your shoulders. And what else? I'm missing some stuff from my last one. Yeah. So some things to be aware of if not already aware of. I'm saying this to all the principals, whether they're doing it or not. So if it don't apply, let it fly. That it's a partnership. It's basically driven by the PAC leader, what kind of events we have and what kind of events they have. And the principal really only has veto powers if it does not meet the criteria for the grant funding. Like it has to have an educational component. So if they just want to have a party for a party's sake, that's a no-go that the principal should probably stop. But if they want to have like a particular speaker that's going to have an educational component that the principal disagrees with, it's not really the principal's call so long as it has that educational component. And what else? What am I missing? Yeah. And do you have a fully functioning PAC? Are all slots filled, or are we working on that?
At Cesar Battaglia, so we have a very small parent participation in our PAC currently, and we're looking forward to having more participation there.
Right. And as I said before, I can understand lack of participation so long as effort is expended, and because me as an advocate and board member trying to get parents out to meetings and to get to speak up on certain things, I know there's varying amounts of success.
Yeah.
But when you try, eventually you hit the right sweet spot and get people in there, and it's our jobs as boards and superintendents to get these things done. And yeah, that's it. Okay, now on to the questions. Okay. Oh wait, I forgot the P10s. Yeah, we got to make sure all the funds flow through the P10s, and it has to be signed by both the principal and the PAC president or PTSO. PAC presidents. So as long as we do all that, we should be fine, because we've had instances where schools have just basically just the principal signed off and the PAC president had no idea where the money was going, and that was something that's said. So we're hoping to make sure we put a check and balance on that. And now for a couple of questions. You got a space for your PAC leaders to meet?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think that's it. That's all I got. I think I hit every key. And I thank you so much for all you do, and I thank you for the efforts with the PACs and PTSOs, and let's hope for a successful year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sokolow. And I know, Mr. Kennedy, I know your president right now, her name is Tamika Baxter.
Yes, Tamika Baxter, that's correct.
I see the information. I would like to meet with her because I know schools, have a big population, it's almost 60%, I believe, around, Hispanics, in that school. It would look good. I know it will have to be good, that school will have a good workshop for the parents, but we're going to work, and I promise you, we're going to work as a team, because that's what we're here for, as a team. And also it's very important that Mr. Joseph said about the P10. I'm trying to make that mandatory, because from there, you can see how much money they spend it, who spent the money, and and then the president and the principal, they can be in the same page, and we don't have no issue. That's how, where's the money, who signed this, who gave it the permission, stuff like that. So it's very important. I used the P10 for so many years, and never fell with me. With that, you have a record, you can go forward, say how much money you spent. Mr. Plana, you have any question?
I just wanted to say, just following through, I just received the list of all the Lighthouse programs. We do have 25 Lighthouse programs in our city, and that the Lighthouse program is funded by the city. It doesn't come out of our allocation as such. And some schools that are adjacent to each other, for example, Barnum, Waltersville, JFK, which has multicultural high rises. They share a common lighthouse program, just so you know. Also, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 schools with a before school program, which is also self-funded or partially self-funded. That's information I just received.
Thank you, Mr. Brana. They answer your most of your question, Ms. Castillo?
Yeah, I did have some a follow-up specific to Barnum, Bassick. I'm sorry, I'm driving and there's a very loud car next to me. Specifically for Barnum, Bassick, Marin, Dunbar, Roosevelt, Wilbur-Cross, and the Military Academy. Are these all have before and after school programs?
The high schools do not have a lighthouse program as such. In terms of the K-8 schools, you mentioned Barnum, it does. Marine does. And Dunbar also does at the Ralph Ola Computer Center.
Yep, and also Roosevelt, Wilbur-Cross.
Sorry,
Okay.
Cross does too. My apologies.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for the information. Ms. Brown, you have your hands up. You have any question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know with, I think it's Mr. Michael, how are you advertising the parents to be able to be engaged into the programs? I don't know if Albert, if that relies on him as, you know, or the staff, or is that the leader, the parent leader that advertises parents to get involved? Because the reason why I asked is because it would be nice if there could be a collaboration between both the principals and the parents to be able to help recruit, because the principals have a different relationship with parents versus parent to parent. So that's why I was asking if there could be something. If there is something already, then fine. But if there isn't, maybe we can aim to where building a way that the parent could, the schools or the principals can advertise the parents being a part of the parent leadership program.
So I think what we're hoping to do at Battaglia, at least, is with those bi-monthly newsletters and really trying to push in that parent square communication. I'm looking forward to working with Mr. Benahy and Dr. Alexander, the rest of administration here with our PAC president in our building to see better ways we can engage with our families. Because right now we send out parent square messages, let them know things coming up, such as open house. We're getting over 85% of receipt of parent square messages, which is great. I want to see that number increase. So we're trying to communicate with staff in the building to really push that parent square communication, because we're not just using that for academics. We're hoping to expand that out for events that are going on in school and other things that are happening at Battaglia.
That's good. And I'm glad you mentioned that. That's kind of why I wanted to hear exactly how you guys were doing it, because I know that was one of our biggest things on my specific committee, and just making sure that we are utilizing the Parent Square app and how we can better support parents. So that's good to hear. And that's probably gonna be my question for all of the principals, because that is the tool. So if we have a tool, let's use the tool. It's good to hear that you guys are using it.
Yeah, it's great too with that tool. It gives us a report as to what families are maybe getting kickback or telephone numbers are not being used. So then administration can then talk with those classroom teachers and say, hey, you have a couple students in your class that have a kickback. So really, I want to get that number from 85 to 90, 90 to 95, and then be ideal and reach that 100% of parents receiving any communication from school.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And it's very important. I'm really glad you said that question, Ms. Brown, because it's very important that the PAC president be involved with parents, send an email, text message, send flyers and stuff like that, because part of the budget, the PAC president, they can buy papers, and might send a nice flyer, for the parent, especially when you got little kids from kindergarten and first grade. It's very important. You send out, send that message to the parents. The parent, they can come and be part And it's very important that PAC president have a great communication with the principal, because the principal is in charge of the building. PAC president have to let them know, the principal, listen, I'm having this meeting this day, be sure that the date and time, no conflict, but other thing, so they can work together at the same time. And the principal send information to staff. Let them know, listen, the PAC will send a flyer, please be sure you put in the book bag, for the students, in the PAC, bring that information out, send flyer, phone blast, and Facebook Live, stuff like that. It's very important. It's very important that that message go out, especially the PAC president, and be involved with the principal, has to be working together. It has to be working together. You have any question, Ms. Castillo or Mr. Just Sokoloff, so I can go forward with the email, with the agenda?
No
I'm
further
good.
questions.
Is Plana, you have any questions? So closing about the, like I said, Central High School have our open house. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, to represent School Batalla, and thank you, Mr. Vernon, to represent Harding High School. I will see you soon. We will talk. I'm very happy the information you guys give it to us. You are very welcome to stay in the meeting, or you can keep forward. So I really appreciate your information. We're gonna be in touch. I will email you because we like to work. I want to work as a team. This is not a situation that we have a title. I'm not here for the title. I'm always saying that I'm here to work as a team, working together, so the best for our parents. Without parents, it's no school, it's no board education, it's nothing, it's no more members, it's nothing. So as elected, community, parents votes to be one of his board members, I have the mandatory to help my parents. Especially, I don't care what country, and I always say this, I don't care what country, what language, where you come from, we're here to help our parents, educate our parents. And I always say this, with good communication, with respect, I know we can do a lot of things and we can get successful. So I really appreciate that, all of you to be part and give me some information. So I will talk to you soon, and thank you for all your information. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep forward in an agenda, and I know BYCL updates. You don't know nothing is happening, Mr. Plana. This is what's you don't know nothing, right? Bridgeport Young Lacrosse, Coach Watson, either. Okay, I know talent show, Mr. Plana. I know you give me some information. I know she's not gonna be here, but you can give me some report about talent show, please.
Yeah, so Dr. Henry couldn't be here tonight. She had a private engagement. And she had that. She sent me this email. It says, we're planning 2 variety shows for the spring 2023. As a department, we're considering a middle school performance and then a separate high school performance. I am meeting with local venues in the next few weeks to discuss the options about potentially hosting our events. We're also tentatively planning a Battle of the Bands show, but want to ensure that the kids are ready. As you know, band was heavily impacted by COVID, so that decision is still pending. Additionally, we're planning to include a district-wide art show at the variety show to represent both performing and visual arts. As soon as we have a venue secured, I'll share the dates. She apologizes regarding not being able to make it.
No, I understand. Things happen, we're humans. We're not perfect, things happen. The reason I bring the talent show here, and thank you, Mr. Plana, for giving the information, is because months before when we were going to patient, I know we spoke about talent show, what we can do, our students. I see a lot of things that Bridgeport, I don't know exactly the name right now, that I know they do a lot of things for the school and the Bridgeport, the city. They post a lot of things for our kids, what they do, like a band, music, stuff like that. Amazing, I love it, I like it. But I want to offer more for our kids. I remember years back, the board education have performed here for kids. I know that you remember that, Mr. Plana. The kids that come to dance, do a show, presentation, and it was amazing. It was good. Parents, they love it, especially the little one. They look so cute, so adorable. But I'm trying to open more that I know we got kids, they have great talents. I'm talking about dance, singing, acting. So I'm trying to open more about that. And every time I see Bridgeport City post things about kids at school, what they do, I like it, but I'm like, I just, how can I explain it? It's something that we need to do something for our kids. They do something. Last time we do like it's like a competition, to see, like in the show on the TV, they let's see for 10 group went on 5, and I would love to do that. Something different, something open to our kids, because I know kids sometimes they feel free when they do talent, when they sing, when they do action, stuff like that. They enjoy it. I know so many kids, sometimes they're afraid to come up, but if we help them and we support them, we push them, I know we can do that. And I'm trying to this year try to do something nice that I know each school, or I don't know if you can send that message out, Mr. Plana or Mr. Russia, trying to let them know the principles. And we can do it in a parent square. Parents, they can, if your son or your daughter have a talent, let us know. They can do a competition. We can do prizes. I really got a lot of sponsors. I don't worry about that. Sponsor, they can give trophy, or they can give money, stuff like that. Who's going to be the winner? But I try to open more. I want the kids to come out, because sometimes when the kids be in the game playing, that's wasting too much fun. When they now know they got talent, they can come out and try to help. We can try to help it. That's my goal. I know a lot of things that Bridgeport post about our kids dancing, arts, dancing, singing, everything. It look beautiful, but we got to let them know the school. We got to let them know, all these parents, if your son or your daughter have a talent, please let us know so we can do a group. That's one of my goals. But I really appreciate the information about Miss Henry. We're gonna keep going. Miss Castillo, Miss Brown, Miss Justin, you have any question about the talent show and information Mr. Prana said?
No questions. I would just say that once we have solidified all the details, that we do our best to make sure it's properly advertised via Parent Square, so that parents can really come out and participate. I know that it will be all in hand when the details are put together, but because it's going to probably be something that take place next year, I definitely want to be a great success.
No questions from me.
Thank you. You're one of the sample, Miss Brown. Your 100 girl, when they do perform stuff like that, that's amazing. That's what I want to see. We can make group for kids, for in the school, for each school or group. Your organization, your kids, they do an amazing perform, and I like that. That's what I like to see for for Bristol School.
Absolutely, and they're all Bridgeport Public School students, so it makes it even better.
Of course. All right, thank you. I'm going to keep going in an agenda. We're gonna discussion of the forming of district parent handbook. Who got information about the handbook? Nobody. I know that's coming from Mr. Testani. I told you you're gonna send in some information. Take a note. Yes, please. The special education device and concert.
So I'm speaking really closely with Carly and we have discussed that originally we were talking about making just special education parent group, but I know that Lynn and Carly already have a parent leader group. So we were thinking about inviting parents from schools with these students with IEPs and involving them in that process and being part of the monthly meetings so that it's more of an inclusive nature. And then from there, I was also working with our department in creating monthly parent trainings for students with IEPs, parents with IEPs. We want to start having a monthly meeting and parent trainings regarding, if you have a new IEP system called CT Sets, so training parents on that, training parents on what their students' IEP should look like, things that they should look for in an IEP, things of that nature. So that's something that we're.
Thank you so much. And for the record, we have President Ms. Castillo. Thank you, Ms. Castillo, to be with us. Appreciate it. I know I spoke with Mr. Stani and we spoke, and Ms. Rocha, you bring that to us. Thank you about the, special education. And I try to make a committee. It's my passion to be sure our parents, they got, special need kids, the right, they know what they can do, with who they can contact, with who they can speak. Me and Mr. Angel Resto is our passion for so many years, for so many years. And now that Mr. Resto have a granddaughter in really school and in special education, it's more passion for him. That's his girl, his princess, and I love her to death. So I will be working with that with the committee. I will inform you guys who's going to be in the committee. We can sit down because it's good that parents outside, they know we got a committee about special education. We can give information with who you can speak, where you can go, what is your right, what you can do. It's very important, because the last thing we want is lose parent, lose student, and get sued. It's a law, the policy, so we got to follow. I really appreciate that. Ms. Castillo, you have any question for the special education?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Ms. Brown, you have any question to about the special education license council?
No questions at the moment.
I actually do have one question.
Go ahead, Ms. Castillo.
And I don't know if the right people are in the room, but we had discussed some time ago about a new software that we were going to use to standardize the IEPs. Has that been implemented?
Yeah, so it's a statewide platform called CT Says that the whole state of Connecticut's using, and it started on July 1st.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you.
504 plans are also on that same platform as well.
Oh, good.
So all students with IEPs and then all students with a 504 plan.
That's great. Good. Mr. Joseph, you have any question?
No, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for information. We'll be working. We will be in touch. I'm trying to see so many meetings, so many committees. Best. And when we have that committee, I will let you know who's the parent, because I want parents to be involved. Very important, parents that they know what we do for staff too, but parents be involved. Appreciate it. Thank you. 8, we got nutrition department update cost of the food. I'm going to present that. Are you do, Mr. Gary? All right. Thank you, Mr. Garrett, to be here. I really appreciate that. Press the button. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So, food and nutrition was invited tonight by Mr. Benahan. You had a few specific questions,
Yes.
and I'm here to answer. Mr. Keon Masteel, our new director, retired back in June. Only here for the transition, but he had to leave, so I'll do the presentation. So, do you have any specific questions?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Gary. I appreciate it. I know the cost, and I've seen information about the cost of the money, how much money go in, how much money go out, and it's a lot. But the last time I talked to you, and one of the things is about the cost of the money. I know it's by component. I understand the have to be healthy and everything. Or our kids asking when the menu is going to be changed, when they're going to have something different. I don't know how everything works. I know it's a policy. I know it's the rules, and I be part of the nutrition center for so many years. So, former director, they changed the menu, and kids love it. How they change it, I know. Remember, they bring some burritos, they bring some Chinese food, then bring some tacos, stuff like that. And kids enjoy so much. It's a lot of different now. Everything changed. That now I see more food waste in the garbage. I know it's a policy. We cannot give it to. I wish they could give it to the people outside, homeless people. They need to eat. I know it has to be in the garbage, but hurt me so badly. I'm talking seriously, and this is for the record. Hurt me so badly. See so much food going in the garbage because the kids, they don't enjoy it. They don't like it. It hurt me, and it's like we throwing money in the garbage. It hurt. I know our budget and our budget for the board, your budget sometimes very tight. They see you receive $100. I'll give a sample, but we throwing $500 in the garbage. And hurt me so bad because I see parents, I see the students, send me the information, send me the pictures and everything, and say when we're gonna change, when we're gonna have this. And they were glad to see how we can work with this, with the still. And I know you're gonna be around, you're not going nowhere. To try to see what we can do best for our kids. I know it's health. I had to be healthy, but I know we can do something better for our kids.
So we have to plan our menus almost a year in advance. We currently have a 6-week cycle menu in place for the elementary schools, breakfast, lunch, supper program, and also the high schools serve both breakfast and lunch, different menus. We generally base our menus, first of all, on popularity of the items. So the supervisory staff, the management team at Food and Nutrition meet and discuss what comes off the menu and what is added to the menu. This is an annual exercise. But throughout the year, we have salespeople coming in that represent different companies that we purchase food from. And the industry as a whole always has innovative products that they want us to purchase. So we do taste test evaluations, as you know. We've been part of it in the past. And we try to tailor our menu based on student preference. However, when we offer our menu to the students on any particular day, they have choices. They don't have to necessarily take everything that's offered to them, as long as they take a minimum as required by the federal government. They have to take 3 items. So if the menu for lunch has 5 items and it's designed to cut back on waste. So if there's something offered and you don't plan to consume it, then you shouldn't be taking it. What would be helpful to us as a department would be for specifics on what you find going in the trash. One caveat, though, I have to say, the requirement for the federal meal pattern, every student at lunch has to take a half a cup of either a fruit or a vegetable that's offered. So that's mandatory. A lot of times they don't want it, but it's placed on their tray because we have to be in compliance with the regulations. So if someone states that they don't want what's being offered, we encourage them to perhaps either try it, or we have share tables in the cafeteria dining rooms where they can offer it to someone else that's extra hungry that day. But our goal is to reduce waste in the program by providing a menu that is going to appeal to the majority. And so that's the way we currently operate. Now, we have a new director. He's a former chef, as you probably are aware, and he has ideas of how to enhance and improve the menu. He's going to be introducing some vegetarian options in the high schools. We'll see what the demand is for that. In the past, there was very little demand for vegetarian options. We've been there before. But new students, new population, we may have different results. But you'll be seeing definitely some changes in the menu.
I would love to see that, and it's something that is not for me, and it's for the kids. For the students,
absolutely.
Especially when we got students, they do sports. I want to be sure. I understand that they have to be healthy. I don't have a problem with that, because I know before we got healthy food and kids enjoy it. When you say the word, like the kids have to be mandatory to put something in the tray, trust me, Mr. Gary, if somebody told me here mandatory, I will put back and say, I don't want it. Very simple. I understand that they say mandatory, but they use the word that told the kids mandatory for me is not for me.
Well, we don't particularly use that word.
Yeah.
We're cafeteria employees. We have signage in place that communicates the message that they have to take the items that are required. And what happens then if by definition, each student is supposed to have 3 items at breakfast and lunch. If they do not take the required 3 items, then we have what's called a non-reimbursable meal. So we're giving the food and not getting any revenue in return. So we want to avoid that scenario by making certain that students understand that this is required. So.
One other thing that I want to ask you, that I know some parents send to the school, to the kids, to the school lunch. Let's see the mom, I have a kid and I send something different because my son, my daughter, they don't like what is in the cafeteria, or they don't want it, they don't want to eat it. The staff of the school, of the cafeteria or the school, they can say, oh, you cannot bring this, you cannot eat that.
No, every student has the option of bringing meals from home. Participation in our program is not mandatory by any means.
I'm very glad you say that because we have, and I hope you or Mr. Stildo, he left. I want to ask you that question. Send that message to the cafeteria, to whoever is the supervisor, because I know staff on the cafeteria, and sometimes the principal, they say, oh, you cannot bring this, you cannot eat that. And I mean, this is not the first time I heard this. This is not the first time I heard this, because if I send my daughter and my son and said rice and beef and chicken, or some or cake or soda or something, why they cannot eat the food they want? They don't want to eat the food in the cafeteria. Why they tell the kids? So I'm telling you that I know, and I really send me the pictures. They send me how they talk to me. That's why I bring it to you, so that you can send a message out, please, correctly, and it's for the record that please do not stop any kid that bring food from the house. Then tell them, oh, you cannot eat that. And then the little kid feel like, I cannot eat it. So you want to tell me the student, they don't eat the whole day until they come to home? And then what's going to happen? Mom and dad's going to come to school with some issues. And we don't want that. We don't want that. And this is not the first time we talk about that. I know you really told me this, and the former before director, they really told me, yes, they can bring it, but they keep doing it, Mr. Gary. So
Okay.
please, it's very important that you let them know that message. I really appreciate that. Also, I don't want to keep going. Mr. Do you have any questions?
No.
I know Ms. Brown, she really left on the line. And Mr. Joseph. Also, the way they heat the warm the food had to be little. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how they work, but sometimes the food is cold. When they're supposed to be warm, or I'm not talking hot burn, but warm, it's cold. It's cold. I don't know. Let's say the lunch start 12:30, and they start warmer. Let's say I don't know how the oven work in the cafeteria. I don't know if they can warm it, a little early, or if they do it early. Let's say at 12 o'clock. At the time the student go to the cafeteria at 12:30, that food is not. How you gonna eat something when it's warm and it's cold? The taste is terrible. I really see it. I don't know what's the protocol or how you work in the cafeteria.
So if I can get specifics, meaning the specific school you're referencing, that would be helpful. But
I would talk general, all the schools. If I tell you all name of the school, I'm not gonna tell you some few schools they do the correct job, but the other ones, because you got ladies and gentlemen, because they care to be sure the food is warm for the students. They don't have to follow the protocol and the policy. But other one, just because the rush, the food sometimes is not warm the way it's supposed to be.
All the kitchen staff are required to take internal food temperatures to make certain that the items that they're serving to the students, at minimum, internal temperature is 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So the kitchen staff have training. If someone gets lax and doesn't do it, we have supervisory staff that checks their production records. So all those temperatures are recorded and noted. So we do have measures in place to address that. But as I said, if you have any feedback on specific schools that we can address, focus in on those.
Yeah. I will let you know, and I will let you know the parents who listen. Be sure you email to correct the person and let them know. what's food and everything, because I want our kids eat healthy and be sure the food, is correctly, the temperature be correct. The other thing I would like to know about the parents committee. I know we talk about this so many times, and I feel, Mr. Gary, they void. They don't want to have parents being in the committee. And I talk to you when you start. Before we have the parent committee, we have meeting in the nutrition center. I know we start because of COVID, and I respect that. But why we gonna have the parent committee? Why we gonna have it? When we gonna have be part of the parent committee?
I had a discussion with the new director regarding the parent committee that we had in place in the past. We're currently short-staffed. We're expecting to hire some new supervisors in October, 1st of October. So I would expect that the committee would be formed soon after, and get yourself, if you so desire, and the parents involved in taste testing food samples that
Yep.
you've done in the past,
Yes.
and get involved so that the customer has input as to what's going to be featured on the menus
Yeah.
going forward.
No, I would love to be part. I did it before. As a board member, and I know PAC leaders and PTOs really want to be part so they can bring the information out
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
parents.
So yes, that's definitely going to be launched this year.
Do you have any question, Ms. Castillo? Any question, Mr. Planet? Ms. Brown, how are you? For the record, we got Ms. Brown here in our meeting. Thank you for being here. We've been talking about nutrition. Do you have any questions to Mr. Gary?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, you have possession of the materials
Yeah.
that those are samples of price increases.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's quite substantial.
I see a lot of different. I was a little more concerned about the beef. It looked like the beef, the percent went up. The price.
The cost of almost every item on the handout has been substantially increased.
And I see the cheese. The cheese went up.
Well, here's an example: 20% increase in milk price for a half a pint of milk. That's substantial. It may be only a few pennies, but percentage-wise, it's 20%.
Yeah.
4-ounce yogurt is a 90% increase over what we paid last year. And our reimbursement rate is not increasing. So these are the challenges we have to remain within our budget constraints.
Yeah, I know the price went up, but I see the fruit. Ooh.
Yeah, the information you have is just sample representative.
Yeah, I know.
It's not every item on the bids.
I appreciate that, Mr. Reno. I really see that, and I know everything. The price around the world, everything's going up, and I know sometimes you guys have to, work. How would it work? With the budget.
Well, fortunately, we annually go through the bid process.
Yeah.
So those prices are locked in. However, last year, with the COVID pandemic, we had companies that implemented the force majeure clause, meaning an act of God, and they increased prices on us due to the increase in fuel prices. Diesel fuel was in the mid $4.50 range, maybe even higher. So all those costs get passed along to the customer. These people are not in business to lose money. Fortunately, we were able to absorb some of the higher prices. So when we're faced with that scenario, we have two choices. We either pay the increase or we take that item off the menu. So we have that flexibility. And we buy something that's more reasonable. So these are all decisions that are made throughout the year in our operations.
I understand it. I know it's not easy, and I know you guys trying to do the best for the health of your workers. I understand. It's not easy, but I know. I very appreciate you guys' hard work. What you do. Do you have any question, Ms. Castillo, for me?
No, sir.
Ms. Brown, do you have any question? Oh, Ms. Gary, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that, your information. We will be in touch because I would like to be talking about the parents committee.
I'll just stick around for
Yeah, of
the
course.
regular board.
Thank you. Next in the agenda, the last one, the best part, my favorite part. And I know Ms. Russia and Ms. Lynn love it. The PAC activity, so an election budget, your floor is yours, ladies. Thank you.
So I just wanted to start
It's
by.
not on.
No.
Let's press it.
Button.
Also,
I did. Now
so,
green.
no, it's not working. You got it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to start by saying that we opened up this school year with a session for all administrators and supervisors and directors on family engagement. So we hired Search Institute, and they came in and did a full day, well, half day professional development with all the administrators on the importance of family engagement, new strategies, rethinking family engagement, looking at it through a different lens, thinking about making assumptions about family engagement, and also trying to determine some barriers that parents or families might be facing to be more involved. And after that first session, we invited the parent leaders in, and they had a planning session. So the administrators had the opportunity right after the training to sit with the parents and start planning their family engagement activities. And Lynn and I were joking because some of them I had to almost say, come on, it's time to wrap up. They planned so much. And a lot of the families, parents and administrators left the meeting feeling like they had almost their whole year planned out for activities. So I think it was a really great way to start the year and to really empathize with families that it's a true partnership and that we need them to make this year successful. And I think they really felt that leaving that session as well.
The parents participated?
Yes, the administrators participated in the training, and then the parents came for the second half of the afternoon to begin the planning for the year.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So we sent around the budget allocations for this school year by school. And the timeline for the budget allocations is October 14th. The schools need to submit their parent engagement budget plan. So that is the action plan of all the events for the year, as well as how the money will be allocated for the year. And so that deadline is October 14th. And then the grants office will review the budget plans and notify them by October 28th so they can begin to spend the money. And we're following the same expenditure benchmarks that we have in the past. So when we do our share outs with you, we'll look for December 1st, hoping that 40% is spent, January 1st, 65, February 1st, 80%, March 1st, 90%, and then April 6th, we're hoping that 100%. I think we did a pretty great job last school year, making sure that that money was spent effectively. And so we're just hoping that we can really hit those benchmarks so that way we don't get into a situation where we're trying to rush and spend the remainder of the money close to that April deadline.
Can I ask, are we still going to adopt? Last year we talked about giving parents an idea of different items that they could spend money on, so at least they have an idea of what to look for, so they're not searching. So that's something that I think that's what helped us last year.
Absolutely. I'll let Lynn speak to that if she works on it.
We do have a document that parents add to it anytime. I also add to it because lots of times parents will share with me. And I really try to encourage parents to communicate and share different ideas together. And if that's something that will really, they benefit most from learning from each other, happening in different packages. But we do add to the document basically. Additionally, we have document for that. It's best used vendors. So.
And then one other question. I know that this is taking place in Harden, but I thought it was cool. The electronics, like that, you know, I guess the parents are not taking them home, but they are available for any, so for example, Harden, if they needed to be able to do something with Harden. So that's something on that we put on the P10 or?
So I do know that some PAC and leaders have purchased laptops or computers for their PAC rooms.
Okay.
So that way when parents do come in, yes, so that is something that they can equip their rooms with in order to provide that to parents who do not have it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys heard me already, but I would love to see something like that. Because Mrs. Sokolovich did ask if each pack had their own like room. So even if something like that, we were to do some type of, not that we do that, some type of workshop that parents do have access to. And it's also encourage them to be able to understand parents' square and also power school. Thank you.
And I made this a little bit bigger in case you wanted it, Mr. Benahan. This is the list that we're working on for the PAC PSO leaders. I have another copy for each school, and as we continue to identify additional ones, we'll continue to update this form, but this is what we're
Beautiful. I'm
working.
gonna put it in my wall so I can see it.
This is what we're working on right now.
And I've been reaching out to principals, communicating with them about ideas for. I actually just had a conversation yesterday with Irene Newton. She had a great idea, and I think it was in part because of the activities that took place at the beginning of the year. But she is holding an informational session for parents to talk more about what's involved. She said she had 30 parents interested in becoming PAC members.
That's
She might
great.
have to, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna report my side. First of all, I appreciate your hard work. I know in the summer you tried, Ms. Rocha, I know you tried to do the best and everything, but I have to say thank you, Ms. Lynn, because a lot of parents, they say you helped them, you give a lot of information, and a lot of parents, they're happy for you. And that's the more important because you communicate with all these leaders, you know. Some leaders, they want to know who you are. Some people, they say, oh, who was Ms. Lynn, who's Ms. Rocha? I have to explain who they are. They say, this is the number, this is the email, you can contact them, you guys will answer back. And they're happy for that. And I really appreciate that, your hard work. I know it was not easy. See the budget, I see when they went up, you know, and now it's $9.76 for each, you know, per kid. And I see it's a lot of money now. So I hope that, like you said, don't go crazy at the last moment, spend it the way it is. Make sure they do the action plan. I'm trying to help I really start email and talk to the leaders how to spend the money and how to do the action plan. One of the most important thing I'm gonna speak with Mr. Testani and Mr. Plana, be sure you take that note that I need the P10. I already spoke about this P10 for so many times. It's very important because the P10, you have the item, how much they cost, how much that they're gonna, how many, you know, how these, the price. And without the signature from the principal and the PAC president or BDSO president, it's not gonna go through. And I was trying to have a meeting, Mr. Plana, you can, I'll email me to the study with the friend office, Michael, is the last name Lombardi, yeah, to work with this P10. To not approve things that is not educated for the parents. Remember, like before we go to vacation, almost 600 pages. You know, you did it. No, it was awesome. I have a headache, but I did it. I went through each one of them. I searched what kind of company, what kind of vendor, and I was in shock. I don't know why the factory they started all this stuff. It's not educated for the parents. That's okay if you want to buy something after you do the workshop and you educate the parents. You want to give something to the kid, or you want to do something for the teacher. I don't have a problem with that. But do not spend the money something is not educated for the parents. That's the reason the money is here. Because it will be said that Hartford or, you know, that they send it to us, the ground, you know, the money, they can do investigation. Other thing I want, we did it before, and it was amazing, the Title I book. What does it mean, the Title I book? That each month Each pack leaders, they do what, they put in that book, a binder, what they did for, let's say, for the November, what they did for January, why they spend the money, what was what kind of workshop you did. So they see as one of the board members or people from Hartford, they say, I want to see your Title I book. I know what the Parent Center was open. Remember Mr. Plana, that Miss Lisa Pavich, she was in charge. Miss Dolores Manson, they always go to school to say, give me see your Title I book. That Title I book is to report what you did that month, in each month, the 10 months. And it was amazing because you can follow, and especially another thing, the P10. The P10 has is something very important. I did it for so many years. And I'm talking about I did P10 when Webster School was open. That means Robert, it was the principal until I finished Basic High School. And I never got some issue. Well, that's how they know who I am. I never got issue with the money. It's about the money because the money is for the parents, not to use it in the school, not to use it for the staff, not use it for the principal. And I'm very tired about saying this, but they keep doing it. When I see that 600 pages and I start search the vendors, I was in shock. How they spend it, especially I know, like I said before, the money and the food. Come on, don't do that. I know you have to buy food, but you spend almost 10 months in food. I have a school that really spends $7,000 in food. And I say, okay, what's the workshop? What did you did? I have a school at the last moment, they buy almost like 10 or 12 laptop because of what I spend. Why they do this thing in the last moment? That's my thing. And I know you send that information out. And the principal had to work with the faculty. I know some principal, they don't want to work with the faculty because they have the agenda, because of any issue. But guess what? Coming from Mr. Michael Testani, our superintendent of school, he sent an email that the principal has to work with the PAC president about how to deal with the budget, action plan, in the workshops. Exactly the principal Testani said that principals step back and let the PAC leaders do the job, so they can spend the money and how to do what, with the PAC officers. So I feel that they don't care what Mr. Testani said. Like it or not, Mr. Testani was still our superintendent of school until November. So need to follow the rules and the policy what Mr. Testani said. I know you girls sometimes your hand is tied and your mouth have to shut because your protocol, your role. And I respect that. But I don't shut my mouth for nobody. Because I'm getting tired that sometimes they don't support our PAC leaders the way it's supposed to. Our PAC leaders, they do this free. They don't get paid. Us, the board members, we don't get paid either. But we try to best to work with all parents, be a team with the best for educate our children and work together as a team. Some people, they don't like to work as a team. Some people like to have a title. I don't like to have a title, but everybody knows exactly. I've been almost 20 years in the district. They know who's Mr. Bennett. In my passion, in my blood, they say help parents, help staff, and help teachers. Sometimes, yes, I'm going quite crazy, but you're really far there, everybody know, because it's my passion. I like what I do, but I respect and everything you got girls do amazing, and I really appreciate your hard work. But we have to work, more with the parents, work with the staff. That principals have to understand me. Let's put it me myself. When I go to school, I don't want this principal start getting Mr. Bennett is in the building. I'm not going to check the building. I'm not here to check what the parents, the staff and principal do. I'm going to help my PAC leader. That's what I'm the chair student in family, to help them, to guide them, to bring it to the committee, and let them know the committee, listen, this is what happened. Let them know, Mr. Plana, what you think about this, what we have to help this parent to guide them. I know we have new ones, new PAC leaders. But it's sad that sometimes they don't spend the money to where it is. It's very important that we have the P10 working. I'm going to tell you this is starting, they can send that out. Just to let you know now for the record. The Title I book is very important so we can know what you did. And let's see now in October, November, December. There's so many things that way we can do. You know, and sometimes a school and another school, they can work, you know, together. It's, let's say we got a school that really did this for so many years, and we got another school that's a new UPAC leader. They can work together. So it's very important. It's very important. For the record, I have Mr. Joe Suckless here tonight. Thank you, Mr. Joe, to be here. So I'm gonna give the floor to Ms. Brown. Do you have any questions, Ms. Brown?
Yeah, so I know that, I don't know if this is, guys, but, I know that, we talked about last year, with just making sure that, each school had a PAC president. And I don't know if this is how it's figured. I did count, there are a few spots where there aren't any PAC presidents as of yet. So I just want to know when is like the time that they start the elections, and then what can we do to help advertise to get, because I know some of them say like identify chairs, so that is good, but there's a large number of individuals. And I know some of the school years, no pressure, but I just want to, for the record, so any parent that may be listening, that may have an interest in one of the schools that's on here, you know, can actually run for them.
If there is a deadline of October 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes, so a couple of weeks. So we have 6 students that presidents assigned already. I know that a lot of the elections are being, or I should say, the promotion is happening now.
Okay.
With elections happening shortly.
That's good.
One of the conversations I just had is we now have 60 other staff. Different, but they get a whole visit. They're trying to get
Okay, I don't know if this is a suggestion here. I know how we have our student representatives that come and report back to the board on how schools is going. This may be far out there, but it will be something cool. Maybe we can talk to the board and see. Maybe we can have representation, you know, maybe once a month, parents come in and report back to the board in front of their constituents and let us know exactly how things are running in their own school, kind of what the students are doing. That may also boost parent engagement, being that they have a seat at the table. And I'm not saying that there wasn't a seat from the beginning, but like feeling like they can be a part and have their voices heard at a meeting, you know, once a month. I'll talk to the full board about that. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think it's vital that if we're going to have representation from our students, that we also have representation from our parents. It doesn't have to be every meeting, but once a month they get an opportunity to present to their community on what they're doing in their districts, because a lot of times the testimonies that we get are from parents that said nothing is going on in their school, or there isn't anything positive going on, and maybe we can elevate parents who do stuff in the school so they can let their peers know, hey, we have a PAC, hey, we have this going on, enjoy this. Just a suggestion.
Of course.
Yeah, you could probably make a motion, no? Refer it to the board?
We can do it, but we can bring it to the board and let them know, Mr. John, when you as a vice chair, you can bring it to let them know, so we can be in the record. You know, I would love to, and that's a great idea.
It's up to you guys, what you guys think.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal idea.
No, hold on a second. It's not two guys, it's we.
Oh, I
Right,
mean,
we.
but like, it's
We.
my idea, but. It's
Yeah, no, this is amazing, because this is the way we need to bring information to the parents.
Yeah.
You know, we need to be parents involved. Keep it going. You have any?
I was gonna say once monthly, I mean, we meet like
Yeah.
kind of once monthly, you know? So maybe, yeah, I mean, either they join in with the students that we already have regularly, and maybe we feature, you know, say
A
we have
school.
30 schools, so like, you know, 3 schools each meeting, however which way it pans out for the rest of the year, something like that, so we don't have like all 30 parents, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Is it Joseph?
Yes, that's something we used to have through the PAC president. There used to be a standing PAC report on every single agenda. So what happened is, before your time, the PACs got dissolved. And Albert and I have been working close to, what's it going on, close to 5 years now, trying to get it back up. And that's the struggle. We keep getting into a chicken and egg situation where can't get the local PACs running properly because there's no district pack for oversight. We're talking about the same things over and over again. Schools not spending money, schools not having packs. If we ever get this district pack up and running, they could take this off the students and families, and we can move on to more student-centric issues and families and get it going. But it's been such a hard road. I mean, we actually got the bylaws passed. It's just like half a step away. We just got to find a way to bring it home.
Yeah.
I mean, we as a board, we got to set firm election date for PAC presidents or whatever, or the PAC, whoever voted for the bylaws, get together and vote for that election and put somebody in place, even if it's in an interim position capacity, to get the ball rolling. We just need, it's like we got a boulder on top of a hill. All we needed to do is lever it off. The board should not be really involved after the district PAC is up and running. I mean, it would be free flow. And there wouldn't be so much need for the principals and all this discussion time after time, because a PAC president at one school that wasn't having cooperation could address that with the PAC president. The PAC president could step in and into, and the PAC president could get up here and give reports on these schools. And this school is going down. I was reported to by the PAC president, blah, blah, blah. And then the board could instruct the superintendent to take action. And it's a system that will feed upon itself. It's just that we just got to get those last few steps. I mean,
Yeah, we
almost
worked hard
had
for us to have the bylaws, and it was not easy trying to contact with the PAC leader. Now we're gonna work out this. That's Joseph said about the district PAC leader president. Like I said, it's gonna be less stress for us, less for you guys. Guys in that district PAC, whoever PAC leader each school, they will go to the district PAC president and let them know, listen, I have this issue, this situation, how you can help. Also gonna be working hard for that.
So I guess my suggestion would be, in the meantime, before, is that something that we can do? I know you said in the past it's been a standing individual that will report back, but if to get some momentum behind it, I would, if it's 3 packs a month or whatever, I would love to hear it from them. Because I've actually participated in a few of the sessions that you guys have put together, which have been great to hear from them. But I think their peers as parents need to hear from them too. And we, as we're talking about holding everyone accountable, that also, hearing from a parent at our last, the last meeting that we had, that really struck a chord for me, because it was like that was an actual parent calling out other parents and saying, hey, where are you? And even if that goes to the level of the district PAC, getting the PAC presidents and the PAC leaders to hold their own parents in their schools accountable, and let's do that. And also let's highlight the good things that are happening in the different PACs. So I would love to see that. And before we carry on that, my other question would be, those schools, for example, we have Barnum and we have, what's next to Barnum? Waltersville. Yeah. So, for example, and I don't even know if this is a thing you guys would know where they be, say that we can't identify one for Waltersville in this time. Is there something where we can do, if it's a neighboring school, that neighboring, so the Barnum PAC leader would rally the Waltersville parents together, and then that is considered a group or a PAC leader? Is that something that they can do? Because if it is an issue of like, there's just no one wants to step up, but there is a neighboring school, there may be different issues, but at least someone is speaking for the 2 schools. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm asking.
I mean, I've heard of schools together to events. I don't think that's exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could do events, but I'm talking about like touching on the core issues of the schools. And even though the school itself may not have a leader to step up, at least if, say, for instance, Barnum School does, they can, work with Barnum, work with Waltersville to make sure that whatever issues are being in Barnum School, parents can be elevated. At least there is a representation from that area. Does that make sense? Yeah. A neighborhood school, like, right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just thinking of ways we could actually get this done. Maybe perhaps we could have, I think we would have to go through a bylaw to just add parent representation to the board, like the superintendent. But that would have to go through governance. governance committee,
Governance, yeah.
create as part of the policy for 2 parent representatives on the board, and we should keep it vague, because we don't know which ones will show up for the meantime. Like we could have the superintendent reach out to all the PAC presidents. Who wants to come to this meeting? Who could commit to come into the meeting on this such and such date? And then we'll get the 2 up here, and we could also integrate trying to get the district PAC up along with those parents, and maybe that'll be the lever we need.
Yes.
Great. And then just to follow up, like, has that ever been done between 2 schools? Is that something that we'll have to go through governance or the district PAC bylaws to see if something like that can happen? I just don't want any school to be left without any leadership if no one is willing to step up. Because it is a responsibility that parents are juggling a job, juggling children. It may be a lot for that particular school, but if you have a dynamic parent in a neighboring school, why not let them be the voice for the 2 schools?
Of course. We got parents, they don't want to be involved with the church, with the PAC, because it's busy schedule. They work at a job, the family, or anything. But we have a voice with parents. They say, why we don't do this? Why we don't? They don't want to be involved, but they care. And that's very important for me that, let's say, like that parent don't want to be part of the PAC, but they can come and, represent the school or say something, And I understand, and I would love to bring that to the committee. The next meeting, we can talk about what we can do to get information.
I just want to be as helpful until we get the full district PAC up and represented. If we could just make it easier for parents to still have a voice, regardless of if they can't attend. If there is a representative, let's utilize that representative to help the school as much as possible.
Ms. Lin, you said that October 1st is about.
That's the deadline for their PAC leaders. Have their minutes.
So we have to check the school, and I will contact to see the elections, because they have to have an election to get, it's very important to be sure they got elections, because we're election, how they're going to submit.
That's coming up soon.
Yeah, this is the first time I know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
And I do, like Lynn said, I do know that a lot of them are doing the recruitment during their open houses. And my daughters are Bridgeport Public students, and I was at their open house yesterday, and there was a table set up to get parents involved in their package.
Yeah, that's very important.
I do know that is happening right now.
It's not the way you can put something in Parent Square and let them know, leaders, be sure you are the open house, PAC leaders, I have a table, you do election, it's very important. You can, you can put your information, you can put my information to my number, my email, that's what I'm here for. I can help them, to set out what they can do, we'll be great to do that as soon as possible, because like you said, Ms. Brown, October 1st is in the corner. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Ms. Castillo? Yo, some of you have any questions? But this is amazing. I'm gonna say now, okay, I can go through and everything. But I see the budget is a lot of money. We have to be working hard. Like I told you, that P10 in Title I book, we have to work that. I have a sample. I will bring it to you so you can see it. And the P10, as Joe said, it's much better because the president, faculty or president, they see how much money. If something's wrong, so the president and the principal, they say, okay, what happened here? With that signature is very important. Of course, some of the PAC leaders and PTAs or leaders, they think because they want to have a title. I really see that. I know they don't get paid for this, but if you decide to be a PAC president or PTSO president, this means because you care about the school and the student and the staff and parents. So be sure when you do the P10, you need to write what the item and everything. You see the P10, the way it is, and it's very easy to do it. That's where you have a vice president, secretary, they can do the P10, review and work together, action plan. It's not easy, but it is something if you decide to be that leader in that school, be sure you represent the way it is. I want to read. Do you have any concerns, Mr. Brown? Anything to say, Ms. Castillo, because I know time is running?
No.
Ms. Huckabee? Okay. Ms. Brown, do you have anything to say? No. I never do this, but I like to because I know ignore my parents. I'm going to give the floor to the president, Ms. Cross. I know she want to say something. If you can be brief for 2 minutes, please, because we're going to start soon. I will give you, just press the, yeah.
I'm the PAC president for River Cross Elementary School. I have have been in for 3 years, so I'm sitting here listening to y'all talk. Basically, I didn't know we get our own room. I control my own budget, just to be clear. I make my budget, I make my things. And this year to get my parents involved, I had 3 meetings, 9, 11, and 5. Because we couldn't get parents engaged to participate. So I just broke it down where we had 3 meetings on one day. They checked the meeting if they showed up, and it made me have 25 parents this year.
Wow.
Good job.
It was just to figure out a way, but I'm just gonna speak to them after. I ain't gonna go that much because as much as I have.
And what was your name?
Samantha Cheatham.
I really appreciate that. I know you really work hard, and I mean, you contact me, Christina, about this, that, and we really spoke. But more information, now you have Ms. Rocha and Ms. Link, we try to help you. Thank you for what you do for the parents. You know, I know you are a busy mom, and you try to do the best for the school. I know you have some issues in school, but we're here to help you, to support you, and we're gonna get great success for it in school. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm being helped.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Brown, the committee, so we can during the meeting?
No, motion to adjourn.
Oh, so moved. Is there a second?
Second. All right, thank you very much for everyone. I appreciate that. God bless you all. See you soon. So I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
They did an open house.